So, continuing from yesterday's video, which was part 1 of Heian Shodan, Shotokan, and Heian Nidan, shitoryu comparison video with Gakuji-san. This is going to be the second part, so enjoy. Okay. The direction of this punch is different.
Yes, that's one big difference.
45, right?
Yep.
Shitoryu.
Yes, and another big difference I see too is when we do our attacking techniques for shitoryu, so let's say like a punch, right? We go into what we call motodachi, and that is a little bit slightly shorter. It's considered about like half of your zenksudachi. And when we do our blocks, we go into zenksudachi. So that's why when we go diagonally, I go into zenksudachi. And when I punch, I go into half stance. Yeah. So in shitoryu,
that's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a pattern where if you're attacking, you're in half stance. When you're blocking, you're in full stance. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's, I mean, from my perspective, since our movements are all on the same level.
Yes, yes.
I feel like it's a little bit hard for me to go from the blocking down position to moving up but still attacking forward.
Yes.
How do you control your body from going too much up and to direct it forward?
So what I think is when I do my katas, I'm actually visualizing my opponents, right? So I think the reason why we change height is, first of all, yes, I think after your attacks, you got to be able to transition to a different direction. So if you're, let's say you're fighting, and let's say kumite, right? You're doing kumite, and then you attack, and then let's say the opponent moves, you got to be able to adjust directions and then attack your opponent, right?
Yes.
So if you are attacking, I think you got to be able to transition quick. So that's why I think in shitoryu katas, they have a little bit of shorter stance. And another thing I learned in actually shoryu katas is from zenksudachi to motodachi, you have that height difference, right? But you are still punching churan. So what you're doing is by changing the height, you are changing the vector of your hit. You see what I mean? So you are punching the same spot, but as you change height, you're changing the vector that you're hitting. So I heard as you change the height, you're actually hitting more down to your opponent, and that makes your technique a little bit heavier. So that's another thing that I heard from a instructor in Japan. So that's one thing to consider also when you're attacking.
I see.
Yeah, so you can use that height difference.
Intentionally make the height difference.
Yes.
So that it becomes heavier.
So there's a lot of katas actually in shitoryu katas where they intentionally change the height. And when we do that is that we change the vector of the hit so that when you are fighting your opponents, you're learning how to hit differently. Even though it's the same punch, you are hitting them differently so that you are hitting them in a different place, differently from different directions, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it changes the force.
That's so interesting. Because, you know, from a Shotokan's perspective, it's all the same height.
Yes, yes.
So we're told to, you know, keep it the same all the time.
Yeah.
So it was a totally new concept for me.
It's great though, because I feel like having low stance, well, I mean, staying the same height, like that's really good because it unifies everything, you know, like it makes everything regular so that it's easier for you to learn. That's the whole point of katas too. It's not really to make yourself strong, you know, all that stuff. It teaches your body how to move. So yes, it's easier for the kids to learn if it's all the same height. Yes, and then you learn, I feel like if you are able to stand long and stand deep, you are able to stand high. Your body will learn easily. So if you're doing a basic kata, it's good to know, you know, you're learning deep, low stance so that when you actually have to do a high stance with short stance, you are able to do it easily. So
right. All right, so continuing to the last part.
Yes, last part.
If you have enjoyed watching my videos so far, please consider subscribing to my online group lesson from the link up above right here, which I hold every Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, your third movement is not parallel with the dojo. It's 45 degrees.
They're all 45. So Yep.
Okay, let's replay that. So from here.
Yes.
So Shotokan, it's parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go 45, but
45,
yours
yes.
is 45, 45. And then,
Yes.
oh.
So that's one thing I forgot to mention in the beginning, that we learn how to move in angles. So after the 3 blocks, we go 45 degrees block and then strike. And for after the 3 punch, we go into shikodachi, shito geranbarayuke, 45 degrees twice. So that's one thing that we learn also in Heian Nidan, that we go in different directions instead of going 90 and just straight forward. So that's another element that we learn in Heian katas. So that's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Shitoryu katas, you guys use 45-degree angle a lot.
Yes, a
very
lot,
frequently.
yeah.
Shotokan, rarely. I mean, yes, some, but mostly they're just 90 degrees.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a huge difference too.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned shito gedanbarai,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. So
that's something we have that? I'm not sure.
Maybe like
unsu.
Yeah, unsu, and maybe like kankusho, right? Bum.
Oh, yeah.
Bum, right?
It's very minor.
Yeah, it's like one time, boom, and then next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you still have it. I feel like open hand techniques, they have it in there to show that you're blocking and grabbing in some of the techniques. So you're taking control of the opponent. So in our case for shitoryu, we have 2 blocks in a row. For bunkai, that indicates that we're blocking with one and we're attacking with one, or we can be sweeping with one. So so what we do is when we turn 45 degrees, we're blocking a kick and we're striking and we're catching with this hand when we go into the block. So that's why our hands are like right here, so that it shows that we're blocking and hitting at the same time. So it's really interesting. Like when you start learning the bunkais, and we go into shikodachi to indicate that we're throwing and we carry our opponent. So when we catch the leg, we actually take him down. We kind of pick him up, do like a fireman carry, and then put him down. Yeah. So that's one thing that we learn from this bunkai too, that we have to be able to have that strength in our legs to control our opponents. So it's really important part of Heian Nidan. Yes.
Wow. And then we go back. I guess this part isn't so different. Zanshin.
Yes.
And then bow to the front.
Yeah, right there. And then one thing that I want to point out is my musubidachi there. That's like a white belt mistake. Everyone look at my musubidachi. That's a bad musubidachi where my heels aren't touching. I was doing it and I was like, oh man, my heels aren't touching, but it's okay. I mean, it happens, right?
It happens, yes, it happens.
The thing I learned from kata is you wing it until you do it. You just do it. Don't stop. I knew my heels weren't together, and I was slowly trying to inch them together, but
slowly, right?
Yeah, guys. So make sure your heels are touching when you do musubidachi.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So one thing I noticed though, when you go back, so after your last technique, you move both feet, right? So it looks like you're placing one, and then you're replacing your right leg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was wondering if that's really common in Shotokan, or
I think it's pretty common. Because I guess this is just my perspective, but we want our axis to be straight all the time. So it's not like we take one full step to one side and then we shift back. It's rather taking like half step, like skipping a little bit forward, and then rebalancing yourself with the other half step.
I see. So you are focusing on maintaining your body center line. Taichusen.
Yes. Taichusen, exactly.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes a lot of sense, because when you're punching or when you're doing something, the opponents are hitting where you are right now. You see what I mean? So if you are stepping, and if you're not there anymore, what's the point of blocking, right? So it makes sense to move both feet, keep that body axis in that one place, so that if the opponent attacks you, you are able to block in that position. So it's really, I think that's a really cool concept to understand. And you don't really see that in other katas too. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And you end directly in the middle too. So
Oh, that's true.
yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, in Shotokan, right, you have to be at least ending on the same
Yes.
line, correct?
Mhm,
So
same line.
obviously I tried. I mean, that's why my Subihachi was a little bit off. But in Shitoryu, it's the same. You have to end on the same line as much as we can. So if you do it correctly
Right,
with
I
good
see.
stance, you should be ending on the same line. So that's one thing I saw, and I was like, oh, that's good.
Mm. I guess it was
like
easy
similar
to indicate
characteristics.
because of the light right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that'll be it for the Heian Shodan, Heian Nidan comparison. Thank
Cool.
you so much for your detailed analysis.
No.
And yeah, later, I think in a few weeks, we'll be uploading our second one, which is the Heian Sandan comparison.
Sandan, yep.
So please look forward to that as well.
All right.
And,
Thank you very much.
check out these videos and subscribe to his channel as well, right here.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And yeah, I hope to
follow
see you
me.
guys. Oh, yeah,
follow
please.
me on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel. Hit me up anytime. I'm up to answering any questions and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to talking with you guys. So
Right. Thank you so much for coming on the channel today. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time.
all right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.